In Barbados, as a boy growing up, there's a lot of things going for you. The opportunities to do a lot of sport was there because Barbados has always been a kind of a sporting island. And when you look around it, cricket was always the number one because in those early days, cricket was the only thing that gave you an opportunity to travel and to see the world, particularly if you came from a humble background. So that's why everybody played cricket, and that is why cricket was like that in the Caribbean and in Barbados in particular in those early days. There's so many other opportunities for so many other things now. Tennis, soccer, and now they got the 2020 and the 50 overs. So there's a lot of things now that are happening in Barbados that give people a lot more opportunities and a lot to choose from. And Barbados, apart from that, has always been a good country for its hospitality, its restaurants, and the people that live there. I think the people is what makes a country. And I think Barbados have had those people. And we still have those kind of people. That's what makes Barbados such a wonderful place to go to and a wonderful place to come from.
When I was there for your 80th celebrations, the one thing that struck me was not only the celebration of yourself, but almost the celebration of Barbados as a nation. And when the Prime Minister spoke about you, when you basically took England apart on your own, it was a very strong, powerful, loyal, national feeling, and it was very impressive. I thought. I don't know what you thought, but I was very impressed by it.
Well, there were things about it that I was very impressed with, and since then I've heard him spoke here in England at the function we had here, and I heard him say things that I never even thought of. Like in his speech, he said something about when I was in England, I made 100 with David Holford, I stand with him. I made 100 with Seymour Nurse, and I made 100 with Cornwall Hunt. Well, I've never even looked at those. I've never even studied it. For all the years that I've played cricket, I've never looked at it from that point of view. Because as a player, I was always a West Indian player. And as far as I was concerned, I played for the West Indies, so I didn't look at individuals. But to hear him say that, which I have never heard said before, I was a bit surprised. And when I saw him and I was speaking to him, I said, you say things that I have never even thought of, although they happen. And I had to sit down and think, well, is that true? And it is, and he told me some time ago that he was a great fan of mine because, of course, he's also left-handed. And he said as a young man, he had worshipped me, so wherever he goes or wherever I go and he have to make a speech and I'm there, he talks about me and the things that I have done and what I've been to Barbados because of my achievements. I have been able, and my character and behavior throughout the world, I've been able to uplift Barbados and make people think a lot about Barbados.
Well, I think he's absolutely right, because not only about your cricket skills, but the way you've conducted yourself like an ambassador for the country. We get back to Barbados a bit. When you were a young man and you were growing up and you were playing cricket and you made your way into the West Indies team, did you feel first and foremost a Barbadian, or did you then think of yourself just as a West Indian?
No, well, at the beginning I was a Barbadian because I was playing for Barbados. Once I got into the West Indies team, I was a West Indian. And my whole idea was playing for the West Indies. As I've said on so many occasions, I don't think I've ever made a run for me. I think I've always made a run for my country. I'm trying to do what they want. And once that was done, it didn't matter what happened to me. But once they were in problems or in trouble, I tried to back as best I can to make sure that I can get them into a position where we can either draw or win. And that was my whole focus while I was playing the game. I never even considered, and I think that's one of the reasons why I never recognized what he was talking about making these hundreds with these players at the other end, because I never looked at it from that point of view. I was always a player that played for the team.
One of the most amusing things about the dinner was when you were talking about Wes Hall and you were picking the spinner for him. I think it was in Australia. You were picking the leg spinner and you were telling him you were going left or right.
Now that was in India.
Oh, in India was it? Right, okay.
Yeah, he was playing against Chandrasekhar.
That was very funny.
And we were in a bit of trouble, yeah. And Wes came in and came down to me and said to me, Skipper, I don't think I can read Chandrasekhar. I said, tell me something new. I said, we had a lot of our players came out there and couldn't read him. You don't expect that I think that you can read him. I said, Ron, I had problems, Basil Butcher, all these fellas had problems. I don't see how you can read him. And I said to him, well, I will help you. And he looked at me and says, how are you going to do that, Captain? I said, well, I will stand back and I will watch his hand. And every time he goes to bowl the Google, I'll put the bat out and you'll know it's the Google. And he turned to me and he said to me, but Captain, you coaches, don't you? I said, yes, what that have to do with it? He says, well, when you're coaching, do you not tell the batsman or the pupil to watch the bowler's hand? I said, yes, well, how can I watch the bowler's hand and watch you put the bat out at the same time? So I said to him, I said, now listen, Wes, I think you got more chance looking at the bat than looking at the hand. And he said, all right. So he went in and he batted, and Chandrasekhar came up, bowled the leg break, everything in proper position through the covers. And as he walked back, you know, like all bowlers, when a tail ender is in, you always figure, oh, especially when you're bowling leg breaks, googlies, oh, rabbit. And you can see him mind taking over. That's all, he's got to be a rabbit. I got Cornwood Hunt, I got Kanai, I got Butcher, I got Hunt. And he came in, bowled his Google, and out went the bat, very short, and hit it through mid-wicket. And Chandrasekhar stood up right. Wes Hall? We could actually read his mind, saying, Wes Hall? Picking me? Like he didn't believe it, so he bowled him another Google, out went the bat, and Wes again through mid-wicket. So he continued, and we battled that whole session. So as he was going back out, as we went in, I saw Wes Hall left me and he went over to talk to Seymour Nurse, so I thought this would be interesting. Let's listen. And I heard Seymour saying to Wes, but Wes, you're picking him better than any of us. Oh, the fella at the other end, he said he ain't got a bloody clue, but I am reading.
Thank you much for your time. I do
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. I hope I see you in Barbados soon.
Okay, in the Lord's spare life and good health.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.